Death and dementia, where I left off, I was dealing with our older brother's estate. And to kind of go back a little bit, when I first talked to the lawyer, when my surviving brother and I first talked to the lawyer about dealing with the estate, and I agreed to become the administrator, I figured, I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to knock this out. It'll take me 2, 3, 4 weeks max, and I'm going to make all the phone calls, and I'm going to go to all the banks and do all that stuff, and I'm going to nail it, and I'm going to be done. And I remember the attorney told me that one conversation she has with some of her clients, they'll say, we'll make, little Sally the administrator, or have her take care of our estate. And she always tells her clients, "You're not doing little Sally any favors. It's a pain in the ass." And she told me that me knocking this out in a few weeks was a pipe dream. Didn't believe her, so put my head down. I went to work, and call after call after call. Like I said, my surviving brother helped me. My wife helped me make some phone calls too. Ultimately, I had to be the one to talk to him because I was the administrator. And the whole thing ended up taking over 2 years. And you can't speed along. When you're dealing with a financial institution, if you can get, say for instance, a retirement company, if you can get everything completed in a month, you're doing well. Because once again, you're going to have to mail in the original death certificate and original court paperwork. It's going to take them at least 2 weeks to process, to receive the mail, and to actually put it in the system that you're authorized to make any decisions. And 2 weeks is actually not bad. Some of these places don't do it in 3, 4 months, and they take forever. Then you're going to have to, after they finally decide they can talk to you, uh, do the paperwork. And it's call after call, and you get transferred around. So if you think that, and I guess I kind of foolishly believe that, I'll call people and they'll go, "Oh, sorry your brother died, and how can we help you?" It doesn't work like that. They don't care. They don't want to give up. The money is part of their company, and they don't want to give it up. And then on the other end, you're ordered by the court to liquidate everything, so it can become a bit of a battle. So expect delays. There's really not much you're going to do about it. There's going to be delays, period. Even if you work hard every single day, you're going to run into these roadblocks and these companies. And like I said, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, 12 weeks, it's going to happen. And you're going to get frustrated like I did probably, but nothing you can do about it. So don't think you're going to knock this out within a month or so. It's probably not going to happen. The only person who's really going to, well, I guess family and friends will probably help you do some stuff, but you're the one that has to sign for everything. The one that really does help through the whole process is a lawyer. If you get a good lawyer, like I got lucky and got a really good lawyer, they're the ones that are going to help you through the process. And then when you do get hung up, and it happened during my brother's estate, it's happened going through dealing with my parents now a couple of times, where some of these companies just won't act. They will absolutely fail to do what they were supposed to do, and then you have to call the attorney, and you're going to end up paying the attorney to send them a letter, or whatever, but it's the only way to get them to keep moving. So remember, going through this, you're the one that has to liquidate everything. So you're the one that is responsible for digging up all the bills that your dead loved one owed, every single bill. And you're the one that's responsible for finding out what financial institutions, anywhere that your loved one has money. Even if you have to call some states, I know the state I'm in, they have the unclaimed money hotline, and you can deal with them to see if there's anything else floating out there. But following up on older bank accounts, older retirement accounts, anything like that, that's your job to do that. So it's time consuming, and it's grueling. For how it worked in the state that I'm in for taxes, you had to do the estate taxes each year, regardless of whether there's income. The first year there really wasn't much money coming in because it took me too long to liquidate things. And then as you start liquidating and putting money in the bank account, that becomes something you have to do income taxes on. And how the state here works, from what my tax person told me, is each year you're doing your taxes for the estate. What they require for estate taxes, though, they require 1 year of a zero income. So if it takes you, say, a year to liquidate everything, and then at the end of the year, you do that final tax because you just got your last check and you put it in the bank, and so your taxes are done. The following year, so you had another 12 months to wait before you're actually done, you have to file taxes for the estate with a zero income. Where the problem with that lied with us is, I want to say it was about 2 years, close to 2 years after our older brother died, his employer called me and said, hey, we forgot to pay him this. Where do I send this check? And it was something like $250. And I said, no, I'm not. I don't care if you donate it. I don't care if you throw it away. Go buy yourself something. Give it to a charity. I don't want it. I'm not going to take it. And as well, it's owed to your brother. I try to explain to them that if I take that $250, it's going to cost me $300 to file the estate taxes at the end of the year. And then it's going to cost me another $300 because I'll have to wait another 12 months to file the zero income tax. And what they ultimately end up doing is sending it to one of our older brother's retirement funds. Some of the retirement funds, I say most of them, actually closed the account after I dealt with everything. I said, close it, seal it up. He's dead. There's no more money going in and no more money coming out. We're done with the account. One company said that their policy is they don't ever close an account. They simply suspend the account, but it always exists. And when that happens, any incoming money, they still accept. And so even to this day, we're looking, 4 years later, I'm getting mail from this one company that's saying that he's got a couple $100 left in the account. The problem now is, as soon as you're done with the entire estate, your attorney, if you do it on your own, that's up to you, but I had my attorney had to go back to the court and file to complete the estate, to close the estate. In the end, everything that I had done had to be reviewed by estate judge or a probate court judge or something like that too. I thought it was part of the court. Turns out what it is it's someone that the governor appointed to be a judge of this, and they basically just review what you did. It doesn't take that long, and then they take 1% of the whole estate. And after that is done, and after the judge has accepted it, the attorney can go back to the court and say that everything's been liquidated, all the bills have been paid off, that they've been paid off for people who actually submitted through the court, and the money has been paid to the next of kin or whoever it's supposed to go to, and then the attorney asks the court if they will close the estate, and then they basically take away your powers as administrator or whatever title you happen to have. So now for me to actually reinvestigate this $250 that they're saying is still floating out there that they gave to my brother, 2 years after he died, I would have to go back to the court, pay attorney's fees to become the administrator again, reopen it, go back to this company, try to get the $250 out or whatever it is, refile taxes for that year for the $250, then file taxes the following year. Both sets of taxes cost me about $300, and then pay the attorney again to go back to court to reclose it. So for me, since mom was next of kin, it would go to her anyway. I'll just end up dealing with that. I'll have to have the attorneys in the court involved when mom and dad are gone. So I'll just deal with that down the road. So to finish up on the estate, remember, no one's going to talk to you and no one's going to care what you're going through until you have a death certificate and some legal document from a court saying that you are in charge and you can make decisions for this estate. No one's going to pay attention to anything until you get that done. And as I mentioned before, make sure you get multiple copies of those, because most of these agencies are going to require the originals, and they're going to have like a county stamp or something like that on there too. Copies are not going to do, and they don't return them to you at all. So you end up, I probably, like I said, went through a dozen or so originals of each one of those. Take it easy on yourself when you start getting delays, when you start getting backed up, because they're going to happen. And a lot of these delays are just absolutely out of your control. As I mentioned before, find a good tax person. And I really urge you to find an attorney, because in most cases, or a lot of cases, you're going to end up with that hiccup in that company that is just not going to respond for whatever reason. And whether it's a single employee or a couple employees that aren't doing their job, or the company is just dragging its heels, it happens more often than you might think. And then you're going to need to get an attorney involved. And for the most part, that just involves them sending a letter, saying that we're going to take legal action if you guys don't get off your ass and do something, and then they end up doing it. So for that was about the completion. Like I said, 2.5 or over 2 years of dealing with the estate. And I'll start going into dealing with mom and dad's stuff in the next video. Until then, God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.